The year was 2314. Earth had changed. The cities were taller, the skies cleaner, and the people wiser. But peace never stayed for long. Far beyond the solar system, strange signals had started coming from deep space. No one could translate them. Some believed they were warnings. Others thought they were invitations. Dr. Aidan Cross, a scientist working in the Global Space Command, listened to those signals every night. He was not like others. He did not fear the unknown. He believed that humanity was meant to explore, not hide. But one night, as he sat alone in the observation deck, the signal changed. It was no longer random. It repeated a pattern, almost like a heartbeat. The machines detected a message hidden inside. It said only one word: prepare. At first, Aidan thought it was a malfunction. But then the same signal was heard by other stations around the world. The word repeated, stronger each time: prepare. No one knew for what. The governments tried to hide it. The people on Earth continued their lives, unaware that something massive was coming toward them. A week later, the largest telescope on Mars saw a shadow moving between the stars. It was not a comet or asteroid. It was too large, too controlled. When the first image came through, the scientists went silent. It was a ship, not human, and it was heading straight for Earth. Panic spread across the command centers. Every leader on the planet gathered. Some wanted to fire weapons. Others wanted to send peace messages. But Aidan said something different. We don't know who they are. We don't know what they want. But if this is a test, then humanity must show it is ready. The ship stopped at the edge of the solar system. It did not attack. It did not answer any call. It just waited. Then, in a bright flash, smaller craft separated and started moving toward Earth. Aidan watched from the space station as the craft entered the atmosphere. It was silent, smooth, and beautiful, like a star falling in slow motion. When it landed in the desert of Nevada, the world stopped breathing. The military surrounded the area. No one was allowed near. But at midnight, Aidan got a message on his private terminal. The same word again: prepare. This time, the voice was clear and human. It was not a recording. Someone was speaking to him directly. Dr. Cross, your world is about to change. He froze. No one else heard it. The system logs showed nothing. The message had appeared and disappeared in seconds. Aidan tried to trace it, but his computer shut down by itself. He looked out the window and saw something glowing in the distance. The same light that had fallen to Earth now seemed to pulse like a heartbeat, just like the signal. 3 days later, the United Nations announced that the object in Nevada was not responding. No radiation, no sound, no movement. Just a structure made of metal unknown to Earth. Aidan requested permission to join the investigation. He was granted limited access. When he arrived, he saw it with his own eyes. The object was the size of a small building, black as night, covered with strange symbols. They glowed faintly when anyone came close. Aidan touched the surface. For a moment, everything went dark. Then a voice spoke again in his head. You have been chosen. His body froze. Around him, soldiers shouted, thinking he was fainting. But Aidan wasn't unconscious. He was somewhere else. He saw images of stars, battles, and civilizations rising and falling. He saw humans standing among giants, not as slaves, but as equals. Then it all vanished. He fell to the ground, gasping for air. When he woke up, he was in a hospital room. The doctors said he had been unconscious for 6 hours. They found strange patterns on his skin, glowing faint blue under the light. He couldn't explain what happened, but he remembered the voice clearly. Prepare. Outside, the world was changing fast. More signals were coming. More objects were being detected around the solar system. Humanity had always looked to the stars for answers. Now the stars were looking back. Aidan stood by the window, watching Earth spin below him. He whispered to himself, "This is only the beginning." And somewhere in the dark between stars, something whispered back, "Yes, the beginning of humanity's rise." Aidan Cross woke up again in the same hospital bed, But this time something was different. The lights were dim, and the air smelled of metal and ozone. He sat up slowly, feeling weak, his mind still filled with the strange images from before. The stars, the battles, the voice, they all felt too real to be a dream. When he looked at his arm, the faint blue marks were still there, glowing softly under his skin like living light. Before he could think, the door opened. A woman in a black uniform entered. She didn't smile. Her badge read, ESA Interstellar Security Agency. She said calmly, "Dr. Cross, you're coming with us." They took him through underground corridors beneath the facility. He saw soldiers everywhere, scientists whispering, and strange machines that hummed with power. When they reached a large metal door, the woman stopped and looked at him. "You touched the object. It reacted to you. No one else has been able to do that. We believe it chose you." Inside the chamber, Aiden saw the black alien object again. It was surrounded by scanners and cables, but it still looked untouched, as if nothing could break its surface. The symbols on it glowed brighter when he stepped closer. Everyone in the room turned to watch. The object was responding again. Aiden felt something inside his mind open, like a door unlocking. He heard the same voice, calm and deep. "You are ready." The lights flickered, the machines sparked, and a wave of energy burst from the object, knocking everyone down. Alarms screamed, and when the light faded, the object had changed. It had opened inside with something no one expected. A smooth silver orb floated in the air, spinning slowly. It was about the size of a human head, but it pulsed like a heart. Aiden stepped closer, ignoring the shouting soldiers. The orb stopped spinning and faced him. Then a beam of blue light shot out and scanned his eyes. The voice spoke again, now echoing in the room so everyone could hear. "We waited. You have evolved. The cycle begins again." Everyone froze. The soldiers aimed their weapons, but the orb did nothing. Aiden spoke softly. "Who are you?" The voice replied, "We are the architects. We build the bridges between worlds. Humanity stands at the gate." Before anyone could ask more, the orb dissolved into tiny particles of light and vanished into Aiden's chest. He screamed as the light entered him, falling to his knees. The glowing patterns spread across his body like veins of energy. The machines went wild, showing readings beyond their limits. Then, silence. When Aiden opened his eyes, they glowed faint blue. He could hear distant whispers in his mind numbers, signals, maps of stars he had never seen. He felt connected to something vast, something that stretched beyond galaxies. The woman from ESA shouted, "Get him restrained!" But when the soldiers tried, they couldn't touch him. A blue field surrounded him, keeping everyone away. Aiden didn't understand what was happening, but deep inside he knew this was not a curse. It was an awakening. The voice returned once more, now gentler. "You carry the key. The others will come. Protect your world." Later that night, in the command center above Earth, satellites began to show strange movements near Jupiter. Massive objects, invisible before, were now visible. They were ships, hundreds of them, hiding behind the planet's shadow. Humanity had not been alone for a long time. They had just not been ready to see. Governments across Earth went into crisis mode. Fleets were prepared. Space stations turned into defense outposts. But the fear grew faster than any weapon could. Every screen in the world started showing a strange symbol, the same one that had glowed on the alien artifact. It spread through networks, phones, satellites. People panicked. Aiden was taken to a secure space station for observation. He didn't resist. His mind was still full of voices and flashes of distant places. But now, when he closed his eyes, he saw something new, a great city made of light floating in space. Human ships flying beside alien ones, a future that felt possible, but only if they survived what was coming next. Aiden whispered to himself. The architect said the cycle begins again. What did they mean? No one answered. The woman from ESA watched him from behind the glass, her expression hard. She spoke quietly into her communicator. He's the key. If he turns against us, Earth is finished. Outside the window, beyond the space station, a faint glow appeared near Jupiter, then another, and another. The fleet that had been waiting was moving. Aiden felt the air change around him. His heart pounded. The voice returned, one final time. They are coming. Remember what you are. And as the alarms began to scream across the space station, Aiden looked at the stars and whispered, "Then let them come." The alarms on the space station kept ringing as red lights flashed across every corridor. Outside the thick glass windows, something massive was moving through space. Dozens of ships, dark and silent, appeared near Jupiter like ghosts. They didn't fire any weapons. They just drifted slowly, forming a strange pattern. Every telescope on Earth turned to watch. The world held its breath. Aiden Cross stood near the window, his hands shaking slightly. His mind buzzed with strange data, like someone was feeding him information from another world. He could see the pattern the ships were forming. It was not random. It was a signal, a message. He whispered to himself, "They are drawing a symbol." The woman from the ISA came beside him. "What are they saying, Dr. Cross?" Aiden closed his eyes. He could hear the voice again, distant but clear. "We come in remembrance. The war ended long ago. Humanity must decide." He looked at her and said quietly, "They are not attacking. They are waiting for us to answer." But Earth's leaders were not calm. Every major power wanted control. Military fleets surrounded the orbit of Mars. Drones and satellites pointed weapons toward the unknown ships. A single wrong move could start a war that no one could stop. Aiden was taken into a communication chamber deep inside the station. It was filled with glowing screens and strange devices built from alien tech found decades earlier. The scientists hoped they could send a message back through the same frequency the architects used. Aiden was connected to one of the machines. His eyes glowed faint blue again as the system linked with his mind, through the static and noise. He saw an Imogen alien figure, tall and thin, its body made of shimmering metal and light. It spoke in a voice that echoed inside his head. "Humanity stands at the threshold. Do you remember who you are?" Aiden felt emotion flood through him, fear, wonder, pride. He replied softly, "We remember. We survived. We built our world from ashes." The figure tilted its head. "Then you must choose. The architects gave you the key. Others seek it too. If they find it first, your world will burn." The image faded, leaving Aiden shaking. The scientists around him watched the monitors. One of them whispered, "Something's coming." From the far edge of the system. On the screen, another fleet appeared different from the first. These ships were sharp, black, and alive with red energy. They didn't move like machines. They moved like predators. Aiden's chest burned with pain. He heard the voice again, but this time it wasn't the architects. It was darker. "You are the chosen of the weak ones. We are the devourers. Your time is over." The screens exploded with static. The room went dark. When the emergency lights came back, everyone looked at the main window. Far away, one of the peaceful alien ships near Jupiter was hit by a red beam and shattered into glowing dust. The Devourers had attacked. Humanity's first contact had turned into the beginning of a war. The ISA commanders shouted orders. "Raise the defense grid. Prepare all ships." The room became chaos. Aiden grabbed the table to stay steady. His mind filled with overlapping voices. Architects, devourers, human signals all mixing together. He understood one thing clearly. The war had already started, and he was in the middle of it. He turned to the commander. "You can't win this with guns. You need to trust me." She stared at him coldly. "Trust a man who glows like the enemy? Not a chance." Aiden stepped closer. The light in his eyes brightened. "I can hear them. I can speak to them. If you fire first, we all die." The commander hesitated for a moment. Outside, Earth's defense ships moved into position. One mistake, and the whole sky could burn. Finally, she gave the order. "Hold fire. For now." Aiden closed his eyes again, reaching into the storm inside his mind. He found the voice of the architects, faint, but still there. "Help us stop them," he said. The answer came like a whisper of wind. "You have the seed. Use it. He didn't know what it meant, but when he looked down, his skin was glowing brighter than ever. At that same moment, across the world, power grids began to fail. Strange symbols appeared on every satellite feed. The Devourers were hacking human systems. Cities went dark. Fear spread faster than light. People looked up at the night sky and saw it glowing red. On the space station, Aiden felt a surge of energy pass through him. His body lifted slightly off the floor, as if gravity had lost its grip. The machines around him powered back on, but their lights were now blue instead of red. He looked at the commander and said, "They gave me control of something. I think it's the seed." Outside, the Devourer fleet began to move toward Earth. The first interstellar war in human history had begun. But Aiden Cross was no longer just a scientist. He was something new, something between human and architect. And he was ready. He looked out the window one last time and whispered, "Let's show them what humanity can do." The silence before the storm did not last long. From the orbit of Jupiter, the Devourer fleet began its advance. Their ships were alive, covered in red glowing lines that moved like veins. They looked more like beasts than machines, and their movement felt hungry, restless, unstoppable. Earth's defense fleets moved into position. Hundreds of ships surrounded the planet, forming a wall of light. Every nation had joined together under one flag now. Humanity was united for the first time in centuries, not for power or profit, but for survival. Aiden Cross stood in the command center of the space station. His body still glowed faint blue, and the strange energy inside him pulsed stronger with every passing second. He could feel the presence of the Devourers. He could hear their whispers in the back of his mind. They wanted destruction. They wanted to erase humanity like a name written in sand. The commander shouted, "All defense units ready to fire." The screen showed the enemy fleet entering firing range. Missiles armed, lasers charged, and drones swarmed out into space. But Aiden raised his hand. "Wait," he said. "They want us to attack first. That's how they feed. They absorb energy from aggression." The room went silent. The commander looked at him with disbelief. "You're saying we shouldn't defend ourselves?" Aiden shook his head. "We have to defend, but smartly. The architects left something behind for us. I just need time to unlock it." Outside, the Devourers opened fire. Red beams of energy struck human ships, breaking shields, turning metal to dust. The first line of defense fell within minutes. Explosions painted the black space with fire. Humanity was fighting back, but their weapons barely scratched the alien armor. Aiden's mind was racing. He ran to the main console and placed his hands on it. The blue light from his body spread into the station systems. The lights flickered, then changed from white to deep blue. "I can link us to the architect network," he said. "I can give every ship new shields." The commander hesitated but finally shouted, "Do it." Aiden focused. His mind reached across the satellites, the ships, the entire Earth defense grid. He felt his consciousness stretch until it was everywhere at once. The architect energy pulsed through him, through the machines, through space itself. And then it happened. Every human ship suddenly lit up with blue light. The next wave of Devourer attacks hit the fleet. But the beams broke apart like rain hitting glass. The shields held. The soldiers on board shouted in disbelief. Humanity was not helpless anymore. They fought back. Missiles fired again, powered by the architect energy. When they struck the enemy's ships, the explosions were brighter, stronger, sharper. For the first time, the Devourers began to fall. Pieces of their ships burned like dying stars. The entire planet could see the battle from the ground, streaks of red and blue cutting across the night sky. But victory did not come easy. The Devourers adapted. Their ships shifted form, their weapons changed color, and they started to break through the blue shields. Aiden screamed as the energy inside him flared. "They are learning from us," he shouted. The commander turned to him. "Then we keep learning faster." Aiden closed his eyes again. He saw images of the architect city's massive towers of light, endless archives of knowledge. He reached for that memory, pulling something new from it. A weapon. not one that killed, but one that disrupted the Devourer's energy. He called it the Pulse. He transmitted the data to every human ship. "Fire the pulse when I say so," he ordered. Outside, the Devourer fleet charged for one final push. They moved like a wave of red fire. The human commander shouted, "Now." Every ship fired at once. A deep blue wave spread across space. It wasn't an explosion, but a vibration that shook everything. The Devourer ships froze mid-flight. Their red lights flickered, dimmed, and then died out. One by one, the massive ships stopped moving, drifting silently in space. Cheers erupted across the human fleets. The first victory of humanity against an alien force had been won. But Aiden didn't smile. He fell to his knees, breathing hard. His body was weak, his vision blurry. He could still hear something in his mind, the Devourers whispering, "This is not the end, human. You only delayed what must come." He looked up at the stars, sweat on his face. "Then we'll be ready." On Earth, people celebrated. Across every city, screens showed the victory, the blue light in the sky, the symbol of humanity's unity. But deep under the oceans, something ancient was waking. The pulse had reached places no human knew existed. A dark energy began to stir, answering the same architect frequency. Aiden didn't know it yet. But the real war was only beginning. He stood at the station window, looking at Earth's blue glow, and whispered, "From Earth to eternity, we will rise." On somewhere, far beyond the edge of the galaxy, something else whispered back, "Then we will see how high you can climb." The war had ended, at least for now. The Devourer fleet was gone, drifting silently in the cold dark near Jupiter. Their ships floated like broken bones of monsters. Earth was safe again, but no one felt peace. Everyone knew this victory was only a pause, not the end. Aiden Cross sat alone in the medical bay of the space station. His body had changed since the battle. The glowing lines on his skin were no longer blue but silver, moving slowly under his skin like living light. Every night, he dreamed of stars and voices he didn't understand. He could feel the architect energy still inside him, whispering in strange patterns. The ISA commander, Captain Lyra Hale, entered the room quietly. She looked tired, but her voice was steady. "You saved us, Aiden, but I need to know the truth." "What are you now?" Aiden didn't look up. "I don't know," he said softly. "But I think the architects made me their link. They gave me access to something they built long ago. Something they left behind for humanity." Lyra crossed her arms. "Left behind? For what?" "To finish what they started," Aiden said. "The architects and the Devourers were once the same. One species. But they split apart. One chose to create, the other chose to consume. They've been fighting for ages across galaxies. We just became part of their war." Lyra looked at him, eyes wide. "And you think Earth is next?" Aiden nodded slowly. "The pulse we used to stop them didn't just destroy their fleet. It woke something. Something ancient buried on Earth." Lyra frowned. "What are you talking about?" He stood up and touched the holographic screen near the wall. A map of Earth appeared, glowing blue. After the battle, I scanned the energy waves from the pulse. They reflected off something deep under the Pacific Ocean, a structure older than human civilization. Lyra stared at the map. "You mean there's an architect base under Earth?" "Not just a base," Aiden said. "The first one they ever planted. The beginning of everything." Within hours, the ISA sent a deep-sea exploration team. Massive submarines descended into the dark depths of the ocean, following the strange energy readings. The deeper they went, the stronger the signal became. Then they saw it a massive sphere made of the same black metal as the first artifact. It pulsed faintly with silver light, like a heartbeat. Aiden watched the live feed from the station. The voice inside him whispered again, "You have found the heart, the memory of creation. Protect it." But before he could respond, the video feed began to distort. Static filled the screen. The submarine's lights flickered. Then a shadow moved in the water, huge, dark, and alive. The crew screamed as the cameras went black. Aiden felt pain explode in his head. He fell to his knees, clutching his temples. The voice of the Devourers filled his mind again. "You cannot hide what they left. The heart belongs to us," he gasped, his eyes glowing silver now. "They're here," he whispered. Within minutes, alarms rang again. Unknown signals appeared across Earth's orbit. Small ships, faster and sharper than before, were entering the atmosphere. The Devourers had returned, but this time, they weren't attacking from space. They were coming from below. Lyra ordered all forces on high alert. "We need to defend the planet," she said, turning to Aiden. "Can you stop them again?" Aiden looked unsure. "I can try. But I need to reach the heart. Whatever's down, there's the key. If we lose it, we lose everything." Lyra hesitated. "That's suicide," he smiled faintly. "Maybe. But humanity has always survived by doing the impossible." Hours later, a small shuttle launched from the space station. It carried only 3 people: Aiden, Lyra, and a Marine named Corin. Their mission was simple but deadly: reach the Pacific depth. Find the Architect heart and unlock its power before the Devourers did. The ocean swallowed their ship. The deeper they went, the darker it became. Pressure creaked around them. The sensors showed movement, massive shapes swimming through the black water. Then they saw it, the silver light glowing far below like a second sun under the sea. Aiden whispered, "There it is." As they got closer, the Devourers struck. Red shapes burst from the dark, hitting the shuttle with crushing force. The alarms screamed. The hull cracked. Water sprayed into the cabin. Lyra shouted, "We're losing control." Aiden placed his hand on the controls. The silver glow from his body spread into the ship. The systems stabilized. The ship moved again, faster, stronger, he said through gritted teeth. "Not today." They broke through the swarm and reached the glowing sphere. The closer they got, the louder the Architect voice became. "Welcome home, Aiden Cross. Humanity's rise begins here." The ship landed on the surface of the sphere. Light surrounded them, blinding and pure. Aiden stepped forward and touched it. His body lit up completely, and his voice trembled. "It's waking up!" Lyra shouted. "What's happening?" Aiden looked back at her, his eyes glowing brighter than ever. "We just turned on something older than time." The water around them began to shake. The heart of the Architects had awakened. The world would never be the same again. The light from the Architect heart filled the ocean. It spread like a sunrise under the waves. The water turned silver, and the pressure around the ship vanished. For a moment, everything was silent. Aiden Cross stood outside the shuttle, his body glowing brighter than ever. He felt weightless, connected to every sound, every vibration, every life on Earth. The heart spoke to him again, calm and endless. "You have awakened us, child of Earth. The time has come to choose. Create or destroy." Aiden trembled. "I choose to protect," he said. Above the surface, the war had begun again. The Devourers poured from the oceans, their ships rising through the clouds like black fire. Cities screamed as red lightning struck from the sky. Humanity fought back with everything it had, but the enemy was everywhere, in land, in air. Even below the sea, Captain Lyra Hale's voice came through the radio. "Aiden, they're breaking through the orbital shields. Whatever you're doing, do it fast." Aiden closed his eyes. The heart responded to his thoughts. Energy flowed through him like a storm. He saw the memories of the Architects, how they built galaxies, how they fell, and how they hid their knowledge in the seed buried on Earth. They had always believed that one day a young race would be ready to finish what they could not. The heart pulsed again. "Then rise. Human. Become the bridge," Aiden screamed as the energy poured into him. His body dissolved into pure light, his consciousness spreading outward like a wave. Lyra watched from the ship, frozen in awe. "He's merging with it," she whispered. The silver glow shot upward through miles of water, breaking through the ocean's surface and reaching the sky. Every satellite, every ship, every human saw the light. It was not a weapon. It was a signal. The blue shields around Earth flared to life again, stronger and brighter than before. The Devourers' attacks bounced off harmlessly, but they did not stop. Their leader appeared above the planet, a massive creature made of black metal and red flame. Its voice echoed through the atmosphere. "You cannot rise, humans. You are born from dust and will return to dust." Then another voice answered Odin's. His voice came not from one place, but from everywhere. Carried through the architect network. "We were born from dust, yes. But we learned to walk, to dream, to fight. We are humanity, and we do not kneel." Every human ship heard him. The soldiers who had lost hope felt it return. Across Earth, people stopped hiding and started fighting again. Lasers and missiles filled the sky. The silver energy from the heart powered their weapons, turning them into something new, living light that could pierce through Devourer armor. The great black creature roared, striking Earth's shields again and again, but cracks began to form in its body. Aiden's light grew stronger. "You feed on destruction," he said, "but we feed on hope." With a final burst, Aiden focused all the heart's power into one pulse. It was silent but unstoppable. The light spread through the Devourer fleet, turning their red energy to white, purging the corruption that had ruled them for centuries. One by one, their ships froze and shattered into dust that drifted away like ash in the wind. The great leader let out a final cry before fading into nothing. The war was over. When the light faded, the sky cleared. The oceans calmed. The people of Earth looked up and saw stars again, brighter than they had ever been. But Aiden was gone. His body had vanished with the light. Only the heart remained, glowing quietly at the bottom of the sea. Lyra stood on the command deck, her voice soft. "He did it." But then the screen flickered, showing a faint signal. A familiar voice spoke through static. "Lyra, it's me." Her eyes widened. "Aiden, where are you?" "I'm not sure," his voice said. "I think I'm everywhere now. The Architect's network is awake again. The Devourers are gone. Humanity is safe. But this is only the beginning." Lyra smiled through tears. "Then what do we do now?" "Grow," Aiden replied. "Learn, build. Because one day, others will come. And when they do, we won't hide. We'll meet them among the stars." Signal faded, leaving silence. Years passed. Humanity rebuilt. With the technology left behind by the architects, they created cities that floated in the skies. Ships that could travel beyond the solar system, and colonies among the stars. They became explorers once again, stronger, wiser, united. And at the center of it all, deep beneath the ocean, the heart of the architects continued to pulse softly.